There's a Predator Hunter channel called EDP Watch, led by DeMarcus, who said that the Loli community are against him. Why is that? DeMarcus has his editor define Loli as characters who that look like a kid but are hundreds or thousands years old, and his editor showed a screenshot of Frieren, which is already wrong. If you look at Frieren and think she's a kid, the weirdo is you. We've dealt with someone who had the same opinion, and he's also a clown. The rest of the characters are the same thing. These are fictional characters that look nothing like an actual human being, let alone children.
Predator is somebody that exploits or tries to do harm to kids. You are exploiting children by drawing children doing horrible things.
So I guess most anime and manga creators are predators because they too draw children doing horrible things like murder, right? You are entertained with children murdering each other, right? Predators prey on real children, not fictional characters. You cannot exploit children by drawing fictional characters that just so happen to be around the same age or look like them. That is nonsensical. Also, this Predator Hunter decides to paywall the chat logs that the decoys have with the predators.
So, I have it behind a paywall for only $4.45 a month.
Why the hell would you want to do that?
YouTube doesn't allow that type of content on the platform.
But they do allow linking that type of content in the description, right? If yes, then why do you put it on a paywall? Why would anyone want to pay for chat logs between predators and their fake prey? Why are you selling them in the first place?
Chris Hansen's videos, he literally does the readings of what these guys are talking about.
Chris Hansen showed the chat logs. You are selling them. That is gross and vile. DeMarcus did try to catch predators by talking to them. He did work with the police, so having him pivot to bashing Loli instead of dealing with real predators is just disgraceful. The Predator Hunter EDP Watch by DeMarcus or Gideon has this video showing a guy who is apparently the biggest anime freak. This is his proof that Lolicons are child predators too. Well, I went out to check the video and wow, that was a big freaking lie. The sting of the video has DeMarcus asking him about anime characters. Here's the thing, DeMarcus is the one that brought it up. The guy being exposed isn't the one who brought up anime. In fact, they spend a significant chunk of the video talking about actual illegal content involving children that will eventually lead to the guy being arrested. They were talking about anything but anime. It's DeMarcus who suddenly brought anime out of nowhere. And they're only talking about them briefly out of this 25-minute video. I don't know why anime just came out of his mind when they already talked about real CSAM. If he is an anime freak, you would think that most of the video will be about anime. But I guess not. I want to highlight this part right here that I absolutely find hilarious.
What if they're 1,000 years old but they look young? What are those called? There's a name for it, I forget.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No. Japan has weird names for things, so it's kind of hard to keep track of everything that they come out with.
This predator doesn't even know what lolis are. He doesn't even know the Japanese terms. He can't keep track of them, even though they are so easy to do to anyone who likes anime or any Japanese media. You would think that an anime freak would know their Japanese terms, but I guess not. DeMarcus cited his own video talking about the biggest anime freak predator to prove that Loli is pedophilia. And the predator doesn't even know the Japanese terms. The dude doesn't even know what you're talking about. It's almost like real predators in the real world, like him, are after real children, not anime characters. This guy is not an anime freak. Calling him an anime freak is straight up wrong. And to use this video as proof that Lolicon will lead to pedophilia is even more wrong. There's a segment on the Predator Hunter EDP Watch video where DeMarcus searched for the term Lolicon and was immediately hit with, "Warning, CSAM is illegal." Slep also does the same thing on Google and was also hit with the warning. Wow, that means Google agrees that Lolicon is pedophilia, right? Actually, No, Google is not saying Lolicon is illegal. Google is saying, do not use this keyword or you'll be led to actual illegal content in this website. Don't take my word for it. Take it from Google's own AI, Gemini. I don't usually ask AI for a direct source, but in this context, if there is one entity that knows about Google's search policies, mechanisms, and algorithms better than anyone else in this world, it's Google's own AI, Gemini. And what did they say? This search term is a high-traffic gateway used by criminals to hide illegal content. So, we are placing a warning here to remind everyone of the law and provide help resources. In other words, this keyword might screw up Google's algorithm and lead you to actual CSAM. This is genuinely one of the few times when I will say that Loli will lead to actual CSAM. It's when you stupidly and foolishly search for the term on Google or any mainstream search engines. This does not mean Loli is CSAM, evidently proven by many US laws, argued even by Google's own Gemini AI. They are not. It means some genuine predators who distribute CSAM hijack that term to distribute CSAM. Those people are deplorable and should be arrested. And Google would rather show the warning to 1,000 innocent people than miss one actual predator looking for victims or CSAM. It's less guilty until proven innocent and more warning regardless of guilty or innocent. Also, actual Lolicons do not search for the word Lolicon on Google. That is incredibly dumb. What they do is they think of an anime character and they look for the 18+ content featuring those characters. It's almost like Lolicons focus on fictional characters, not real people. If anything, you predator hunters doing this might lead you way closer to actual CSAM than any Lolicon ever will. After being bashed and mocked by not just Lolicons but anime fans and weebs in general, the predator hunter group EDP Watch offered to invite Loli fans for a debate. Dude, you are wasting your time. You have the capacity to save real children, but you are wasting your time going against people who enjoy fictional characters. You predator hunters are wasting your time on fictional characters that could have been given to real children. Are you gonna call the police on them? Are you gonna arrest them? Are you going vigilante on them? Are you going to harass or report them? Or are you just gonna call them a weirdo and that's it?
What is the charge?
These predator hunters don't have any concrete actions moving forward dealing with Loli or Shota fans, aside from shaming them online on stream. All these people do is just performative moral outrage. If you really want to debate, I am down, but I can assure you that it'll be a waste of my time, it'll be a waste of your time, it'll be a waste of everyone's time, unless it's on a stream and the super chats are on in everyone's end. Oh wow, I guess I found the ultimate end goal. It's performative moral outrage for profits. That's what it is. If EDP Watch sells the Predator chat logs and audio messages on a paywall, it's really not a stretch to assume that the debates are for profits too. I guess they're running out of predators to catch, so they just expand the definition to include Lolicons too. The predator hunter DeMarcus from EDP Watch really should not have put this video up front. It's a live stream that he clipped, but it is a horrible one.
Instead of this back and forth on Twitter, let's be men about it because the majority of them are men. I'm like, yo, let's be men about this and let's talk on stream.
Appeal to masculinity. Nice try. The reason why you don't do a back and forth on Twitter is because you don't profit from them as much as a live stream. So, if it's gotta be a live stream and you're inviting me, my end is gonna be monetized too.
I made a video where I caught a dude into Loli, right?
Except you didn't catch a dude who is into Loli. You catch a predator who is into real children. And you're the one who brought up anime out of nowhere. He doesn't even know the term.
What if they're 1,000 years old, but they look young? What are those called? There's a name for it. I forget.
I don't know.
You don't know?
The dude is into real children, not anime. You're the one who brought up anime out of nowhere. That sicko doesn't even know the term for it. He is far from what I would describe as an anime freak. The fact that you still cite that video, despite it disproving your point, is incredible.
Loli is literally CP.
No, it's not. They involve fictional characters. They are not real.
I'm getting ratioed by people trying to defend CP, man.
Except they are not defending CP, they are defending Loli, as in fictional characters. They are not children. They shouldn't be treated the same.
You're confusing fiction and reality, brother.
Predator hunters cannot accept that fictional characters are not real, and there's nothing wrong with being attracted to them.
So because they're not real children, nobody's being sexualized.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Fictional characters are not children. They are not real.
How long do you think it's gonna be where someone can just draw the image before they want to start seeing the real thing?
Never. That will never happen. The real thing, real children, are fundamentally and radically different to the fictional characters that these people are jerking off to that you are getting outraged at. This is like arguing, if you kill people in games, when are you gonna start doing that in real life? This is a slippery slope fallacy, and you have not provided evidence that this someone has slipped the slope. The one that you did have, or claim to have, the guy doesn't even know the Japanese terms, but he's an anime freak, right?
Then how long do you think it'll be after they start seeing the real thing till they want to do the real thing?
Never. The ones who want to see and want to do the real thing are actual criminals. They are not to be compared to people who are into fictional characters.
So by your logic, people making AI...
Let me stop you right there. You think that I agree with AI-generated children? I don't. I do not give a damn if AI-generated children are not real. They are still illegal. AI's data is trained on actual, real children, and they are capable of making content that are virtually indistinguishable to real ones, which is definitely illegal according to the law. And no one in their right mind should ever support that. I have never supported that, and I've called out the many misuses of AI for not just towards children, but also towards adults who got sexualized by AI without their consent. It's one of the few times in my videos where I'm a moral guardian because AI undressing is wrong. Real people are affected by it. It's almost like I and many others in this community care for real people being hurt instead of fictional characters being hurt. I am in awe of the garbage that these predator hunters say to people that just like fictional characters.
Let me come over to your house, unannounced, and let me just look through your hard drive.
Wow, that is an actual threat. You just threatened this guy. All he said was that you're virtue signaling against Loli and that you have skeletons in your closet. I'm not gonna accuse you of having skeletons. He said that because there is a trend of people who are against Loli or anime in general having actual skeletons in their closet. Even Slep, who is anti-Lolicon, seems to be heading to that direction. I don't know the full details, but it is more concerning than fictional characters. You can literally just reply, I don't, you weirdo, but you have to go the extra mile. You just confess to the world that you want to show up to his house unannounced to look at his hard drives. That is unreasonable search and seizure, trespassing, violations of privacy, oh, and not to mention incitement to harass, threat, intimidation. There are so many legal grounds that can be covered out of what you just said that are enough to either file a restraining order or have the police come to your house. Yes, the police has legal grounds to come to your house because you threatened to invade people's homes, but they do not have legal grounds for anime characters in sexual situations being saved in hard drives. It's almost like the police cares for real people rather than fictional ones. Oh, another thing, before you say, I'm just joking, I'm not actually gonna come to your house, you cannot say that you're joking if the person who received that joke genuinely feels threatened by you. You are still legally liable for that. Maybe stop being an internet vigilante and start learning how the law works before you start threatening people over drawings.
Me and Alex have a bunch of leads now, chat. We quite literally have unlimited leads.
No, no, you don't. You do not have unlimited leads. You have no legal basis going against people that like fiction. Considering how you blatantly threaten people to show up to their homes unannounced, which is a crime, it is you who's going to be in a legal trouble. Of all the things that Predator Hunter EDP Watch DeMarcus did, this one will continue to be incredibly gross.
I'm gonna grant them this, chat. Okay, I'm weird. I'm weird for selling the chat logs of what these monsters are saying to our decoy and these chat logs that got these monsters set up.
You're not weird. You are vile for doing that. What is wrong with you?
Me and Chris Hansen, we're both weird because we showed the chat logs, right?
No, Chris Hansen doesn't sell the chat logs. You do. I love how you corrected yourself once you realized that you literally said sell the first time,
Selling the chat logs,
but then you said show, just to make it less gross.
we showed the chat logs, right?
You sell chat logs of predators preying on decoy children. That is gross and vile. What is wrong with you?
If I'm weird for showing the chat logs of what these
Stop. You're not showing them. You're selling them. Did you slip the first time you said that? Oh, wait, you did.
dudes selling the chat logs, what does that make you for drawing literal children?
They are not children. Fictional characters are not children. They are not real. Children are real. Predators are real. And you are selling the chat logs of these predators preying on the decoy children. You are literally making money off of their predatory behaviors. That is gross. That is vile. You are scum. You got it absolutely correct the first time. You do sell those chat logs. But I guess you realize how bad that makes you look, so you immediately pivot to saying, show the chat logs. That is a clear display of dishonesty, and the fact that you engage on this openly is abhorrent. People do not sell chat logs of actual predators preying on children. We like fictional characters that are not real, no matter how screwed up they are. You quite literally monetize real predators' chat logs. You are beyond weird. You are gross and sick. This is such an incredibly baffling thing to say for these predator hunters who are anti-Loli.
You see how he brought out his best character he has? His most PG character that he brought out?
Freerin. You consider Freerin the most PG.
You know what? If all Loli looks like this, I wouldn't have a problem at all.
Wow. So you are totally okay with the Loli. You just gave Freerin a pass. She is acceptable Loli. Freerin isn't even a Loli, but considering that a couple months ago we had this dude crashing out and literally saying this.
Freerin looks like a teenager. Y'all try to use the excuse that, oh, she's thousands of years old. No, she still looks like a teenager.
Congratulations, DeMarcus. You are a Lolicon. You just gave Freerin your stamp of approval. And now you'll be accused by dudes like this of being a predator freak who needs to be locked up. I have never used an anti-Loli words against another anti-Loli, but wow, this is quite a special occasion. Also, since you have your own editor, I guess you didn't watch the videos that you post online, because your own editor quite literally showed Freerin as an example of a Loli. You say that you are okay with Freerin, and Freerin is a Loli by your own definition, stated on your own published video. You are a Lolicon, so you should be in jail too. These predator hunters really should consider a career change, and they definitely should hire lawyers.
If I could, without getting flagged, I would show you guys the stuff that these weirdos be drawing. But I would be put on the list and I could get arrested.
Really? Then why haven't we heard any Lolicon or Shotacon who has been arrested for it? Considering that there are so many of them that hound you online for this absolutely dumb opinion, surely at least one of them would have been arrested for it. But no, they haven't been arrested because Loli or Shota are not actually illegal, and you won't get arrested for drawings of fictional characters that are not real. Also, by your own standards, you are in possession of what you yourself deem as CP. By your own logic, you own illegal content. So illegal that you cannot show it without being flagged or getting arrested. Why do you have them? Why do you confess to the world that you have them? And if you show them, you'd be arrested. You are not a cop. You are a vigilante at best. You have no legal immunity for possessing illegal materials. Instead of going online and talk smack about Lolicon or Shotacon on stream and begging to debate them, how about you actually go to the authorities? You won't, because you have no actionable legal grounds for it. And even if you do, you'll soon find out that the police are not gonna do jack squat about people liking drawings of fictional characters. They would rather you give them real predators that go after real children instead of wasting their time. Can we at least agree that this exercise of going after Loli or Shota is a waste of your time that could have been spent on real children that are currently being preyed on? If you can't agree with that, then I hope the performative moral outrage super chats successfully cover your weekly bills. And that's all for the video today. Here's a cat. Huge thanks to all the wonderful sponsors this week. You're all fantastic. Don't forget to check out my previous videos here. Click the like button, comment, subscribe, join the YouTube membership, leave some tips, just $1 down below. And thanks for watching.